Imagine stepping out of your hotel and immediately hitting a literal wall of motorbikes. The tropical heat is heavy, the noise is a constant hum, and you have absolutely no idea how to cross the street, let alone explore the city. How do you process that kind of beautiful, overwhelming chaos without completely short-circuiting?
You elevate yourself above it, quite literally. It is fascinating how a simple red double-decker bus completely changes human psychology in a hyperactive urban environment. Down on the pavement, you are in survival mode. But 3 meters up in the air on an open deck, suddenly the chaos transforms into a beautifully choreographed ballet that you are safely observing.
That is exactly the magic of those hop-on, hop-off buses. It is almost like a golden ticket to a city's greatest hits, but with a built-in sanctuary. You get the breezy, unfiltered reality on the top deck for your photos. But the moment the midday sun gets too intense or a sudden rainstorm hits, you just retreat to the air-conditioned lower level. It is the ultimate compromise between adventure and comfort.
And that compromise is exactly what the modern traveler demands. We crave the illusion of total immersion, but we secretly want a safety net. What really strikes me about this model is the concept of curated freedom. You are not trapped on a rigid group tour following a guide with a flag. If you see a charming cafe, or decide you suddenly need 2 hours to process the heavy history at the War Remnants Museum, you just step off. The infrastructure bends to your spontaneous desires, not the other way around.
Right? Because you know the next bus will always come back for you. It effortlessly stitches together the French elegance of the Opera House, the deep history of the Central Post Office, and the ultra-modern landmark 81 touching the clouds. But there is another layer to this infrastructure, isn't there? The digital and auditory layer. You can plug in headphones and get the historical context in half a dozen languages, while simultaneously using the onboard Wi-Fi.
Oh, the Wi-Fi is the ultimate modern necessity. Let's be brutally honest here. In today's attention economy, if you do not immediately upload that sunset view of the Ben Thanh market to your social feed, did the experience even happen? The bus is not just a physical vehicle anymore, it is a mobile content creation studio. But the real paradigm shift happens after 6 in the evening.
The night tour.
Exactly. The daytime is about efficiently ticking off historical landmarks, but the night tour is pure cinematic atmosphere. The neon signs bleed into the streets, the temperature drops, and the city reveals its true, pulsating identity. Watching that from the second floor feels less like traditional tourism and more like floating through a living cyberpunk movie.
Which brings up a really interesting philosophical question. By viewing the city from that elevated, moving platform, are we truly connecting with the local culture, or are we just consuming it through a comfortable moving screen?
That is the ultimate paradox of modern travel. It is a filter. But maybe a filter is exactly what we need to fall in love with a place before we are ready to dive headfirst into the chaotic streets below. It gives you the confidence to eventually step off the bus and walk into the unknown.
A beautiful way to look at it. Sometimes you have to glide above the maze before you can learn how to walk through it. Next time you find yourself in a city that never stops moving, maybe the best first step is to simply let it move around you.